I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hello, and welcome to the Intel Brief. I'm your host, Daniel, and today is 18 July. I think I've done that the wrong way round. Fuck it. Let's get into the brief. US Congress has approved a $9 billion cut in foreign aid and public media. Trump has requested the release of documents related to the Epstein case. And Slovakia to stop blocking new EU sanctions on Russia. So firstly, the Republican-controlled US House of Representatives has passed President Donald Trump's plan to cancel $9 billion in funding for foreign aid and public broadcasting early on Friday. President Trump and House Republicans promised fiscal responsibility and government efficiency, the House Speaker Mike Johnson said in a statement shortly after the vote. The spending cuts represent a fraction of the projected $3 trillion that Trump's big, beautiful bill is expected to add to the national debt. The chamber voted 216 to 213 in favor of the funding cuts. Two Republicans voted against the cuts, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania and Mike Turner from Ohio, along with every Democrat. Most of the financial cutbacks will affect countries hit by disease, conflict, and natural disaster, but the cuts will also mean $1.1 billion less for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting over the next 2 years. Conservatives argue that financial backing of the media, which goes mostly to more than 1,500 local public radio stations and TV shows, as well as public broadcasters such as NPR and PBS, is unnecessary and has led to biased coverage. So what? While in the past I've talked about how the cutting of spending is a positive because the US is upset with spending all their money overseas when they're seeing so many problems at home. This is a pretty hard argument to make when you're adding $3 trillion US dollars to the national debt. Cutting $9 billion in funding to both overseas aid and public broadcasting is nothing compared to the $3 trillion you're adding. That is a ridiculous argument to make at this point, and it's just only going to be damaging for the US's soft power globally. That's my main takeaway. While aid is a super nice thing to do, it gives you soft power, right? It gives you a bit of leverage over these countries, or a bit of social lubricant, and talking to them and getting them to help you with whatever it is you're interested in. Additionally, the taking away of the funding for public broadcasting, it's just going to affect small time local stations mostly, and it seems highly likely that this is just a kickback for them not liking Trump. Much like most decisions this government is making, it's just done based on if you speak well of Trump or if you don't. It's fucking crazy to see. And next, US President Donald Trump has directed the Attorney General Pam Bondi on Thursday to release the grand jury testimony related to the Jeffrey Epstein case following court approval. In a statement, he said, "This scam perpetrated by the Democrats should end right now." Writing on Truth Social, he decreed that a ridiculous amount of publicity is being given to Jeffrey Epstein. Shortly after the statement, Bondi said on X that the Justice Department was ready to move the court on Friday to unseal the grand jury testimony. So what? I mean, Trump's trying to have it both ways here. In his build up to the election, this was the thing he talked about in a huge way. And now he's trying to flip it on his head and say it's absolutely nothing, and getting his hardline supporters to forget it. it's pretty hard, and it seems to be having a significant effect in driving away his like hardline based supporters. While like no, it's pretty hard to know, right, what is actually going to be there, but it seems likely that there must be some information related to what Jeffrey Epstein was getting up to. Like everything else points to there being some kind of information that should be made public. So why he's not letting it be public is pretty fucking suspicious. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Otherwise, I think if he doesn't release something, his base support is going to eventually crumble away and not trust him. You're already seeing some pretty far right hardline mugger commentators turn on him, which is crazy to be fair. And lastly, the Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico said on Thursday that his country will end its blockade of new EU sanctions packages against Russia. Slovakia had been holding up the 18th EU sanctions package against Russia over concerns regarding a separate EU plan to import gas from Russia beginning in 2028. Any new sanctions packages require a unanimous approval from all 27 member states. And he said in a video that at this point it would be counterproductive to continue blocking the 18th sanctions package tomorrow. He said Slovakia received guarantees from the EU pertaining to gas pricing and supply. Interesting. So what? I mean, it's good to see that Fico's flipped. Like getting more sanctions on Russia is a pretty good way of cracking down on their economy and kind of crippling their war effort, which is kind of the main goal of sanctions. Continuing to buy Russian gas is fucking insane if this is what you're doing, and all efforts should be made to find other suppliers for gas and stop buying Russian gas because you're just giving money to your enemy, which at a time like this is insanity of the highest degree. What is interesting is that Fico has turned. Like, he's been a pretty hardline Russian supporter. So I wonder what the real reason is. It's quite possible that the EU have kind of threatened to, stop giving Slovakia any money, which would damage their economy pretty significantly. But yeah, it's good to see. Good to see. Positive moves. That's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again, probably not tomorrow because it's Saturday, Monday. Thank you. See you.